Hello. How's it going?
Hello.
Was I supposed to count down just then?
No, but I thought you would do
Okay.
the intro since it's your.
No, I meant like I know you're recording on your side, so don't you have to change scenes on your side? And I fucked up
No,
the.
no, I don't have to change scenes. What's the point? I'm not streaming, so
Gotcha.
yeah,
All right. Welcome to the stream and podcast.
yeah.
I'm Kivium, also known as Jesse, and I'll be the topic guy today.
And I'm Soldikit, also known as Manuel. And I'll be the receiver of the topic, I guess, whatever you would call that.
Would you like to guess what the topic is today?
Oh my god, can I get at least some kind of hint?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
How could I guess then? There could be so many options. Is it about advancements in vehicle technology?
No. I did that one already.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to talk about Palworld.
Palworld? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mostly because I didn't have a good idea, and I've been playing a lot this week, especially.
Are we going to be talking about Palworld specifically or like everything around it?
I was thinking about like three different topics. I was thinking of the controversy topic because it's topical, and the what how we're enjoying it right now or not enjoying it. I think we're enjoying it though, and what we think would be cool added on later, and maybe I'll bother looking up what they're actually planning and talk about that too.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they did
those-
release a roadmap, so.
yeah. I heard some talk about what they want to try to accomplish, so at least I have a little bit on that.
Okay.
So yeah, the very start, the topic of the controversy between Powered being there's a few Palworld using AI
Okay, hold on. Maybe
allegedly.
we should start with explaining what Palworld is. So in case anyone wouldn't know what it is.
Yes, Palworld, the game that is second most played game on Steam now. It officially passed CS:GO.
You would be surprised though. Some people might not know anything. It's just,
Well,
it's the
drop
way-
what you're doing and go play Palworld because everyone
Yes.
else is doing it.
You know what? Stop listening to this podcast. Come back after though, but stop listening right now and go play Palworld and then come back and then you'll understand.
Yes. Yeah, Palworld, second biggest game on Steam at the moment. Most people are playing it. It's essentially I don't want to say Pokemon clone, but it makes everyone think of that. So you go around open world catching monsters. They're called pals with your pal balls, and you just go out and have a good time, explore. It has survival mechanics that I would deem it to be kind of like Ark Survival or Rust. They're very similar.
Yeah.
They have faction systems, kind of like those games too. They call them guilds. And yeah, it's a grand old time. It's really fun. That being said, there is controversy on the game. I think there's two main points. One, the fact that there's monsters that you can catch with balls. Makes you think of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. They're Pal
then-
spheres, okay? They're legally distinct.
Yes. and and also the controversy regarding the alleged use of AI, because there is a fair point that people have brought up that I'm just going to bring up right now before I pick which part of the controversy train we're going to hop on. I guess it's going to be the AI train. At the time of Palworld's creation, or like where it had to be basically marketed, Steam didn't allow AI to be done in games and sold on Steam.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big, like, it's still possible that they just kind of, oh, we didn't do it and did it anyway. But it's definitely a big contributor to the argument against the fact that they used AI. And even if they use an AI tool to help, generate the assets or stuff like that, I don't think it's a big deal.
Oh
You
no,
can,
the controversy.
like, I'm sure there's an artist's hand in it, and I know that the worry is like, oh, they're going to replace artists later on, but right now that's not the case. And the future, that's probably going to be definitely the case, but the future's not now.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
what
think
do you
there's.
think about the AI take?
Well, I think there hasn't been any proof that there is AI in the thing. In fact, the whole AI thing being in the game was essentially just because I don't know if it's like the company or if it's the like I'm not sure what to call him, like the director or the person that made the game or whatever.
They have
Uh,
company name.
yeah, it's Pocket Pair, I think. Pocket Pair, I'm pretty sure.
That makes sense. It's pocket something.
I think it's Pocket Pair. Um, anyway, regardless, so he made or they made a game before that
Yeah,
uses
you're right.
AI art. I can't remember the name of it.
Mhm.
So this is where, and you have to realize a lot of people obviously were angry, like because they're Pokemon fans, and they're like, "This is bullshit." You know, it's a ripoff of Pokemon, which is like it's not a ripoff of Pokemon. Obviously, it's heavily inspired, but it's not a ripoff of Pokemon.
This game is actually fun and it has Pokemon elements. How dare you?
Yeah. But there hasn't been actually any proof that AI was used to make any of the pals or anything in the game. It was just basically oh, well, he's done or they've done a game that uses AI art before, therefore, surely this one uses it too.
Yeah.
So, that's not an argument to be made. That's just stupid.
Yeah. And my take on it, whether what they use to make the game good or bad, if the game's good, it kind of makes it it's not okay, but I don't consider AI to be bad. So to me, it would be okay. The game's okay, AI is okay, everyone's okay.
You know what?
Unless it's a game, I'm just gonna bring this up. The only case where I wouldn't say that works is that if the game's good, but two people died because they're being overworked as hell and had to stay in the office for days, and someone died because of it. Yeah, the game's bad.
Yeah.
We shouldn't support that game. But
Mm.
AI is a tool. I consider it different. Thus, game's good either way. If the game's good, why care?
Yeah. One thing I'd like to mention, and this was very controversial. I seen this on Twitter. Obviously, you know about Asmongold. I don't know if you've seen this specific video or whatever. But
I probably did.
I don't watch him a lot, but he does show up on my feed on Twitter sometimes, like the For You one, and or even like during Palworld, a bunch of people that I follow are even talking about it, obviously stuff too. But essentially, what he said is that even if it's a ripoff of Pokemon, like say like the models and stuff, because that's another controversy. So I guess I don't want to talk too much about it until we get to it. But even if the models are like ripoffs or AI art and stuff like that, he said the consumer doesn't care. The consumer cares about if the game's fun, and that's kind of going on what you said, I feel like.
Yeah.
I agree with him to some extent. I think some people do care, some people won't care. And a lot of people hated that he said that. I didn't see anything else he said, so maybe it's out of context and stuff anyway. I have no clue. I'm just going based off of what I seen and how people reacted and stuff. But people are like really going after him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm no like big Asmongold supporter or whatever. Like I don't care, but he is right to some extent. A lot of people don't care how something came to be. They only care about what it is. So you could use this example for anything. And this is just reality. It's just the way it is. Like people that want to consume stuff, not everyone, some people care, like I said. It's not like black and white, but if you gave someone, say, an iPhone, and the iPhone is a ripoff of an actual iPhone. So it's called like an I don't know an e-phone.
Mhm.
But this e-phone, quote unquote, is better than the iPhone in every way. But it's clearly ripped off. People would still buy the e-phone. Some people would buy it and not care because it's better. So it doesn't matter that it was ripped off.
So I have 2 points I want to bring up to what you just said. The first one is isn't that what Androids are essentially? Like if we think back to the creation of the iPhone, creating the touch screen, and it's like the very first phone with no keys, and then Android suddenly make a phone with no keys and it's also a touchscreen.
I think that's different because it's like
They ripped it off. It's not their idea.
yeah, but it's not the same, right? Because technology moves forward and everyone's gonna move forward with that leap. And like it's not like Android would have been, well, these touchscreens are awesome, but we're not gonna do them. Like that's ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
Why would you ever say that?
But I think that's also fair to the point of like how close Palworld is to Pokemon. Is that Pokemon's awesome. Why can't we make our own kind of Pokemon?
I think the difference though is like how if the first Android phone with a touchscreen was exactly like the iPhone but with a different name and like slightly different looking UI or something, then I would agree with you. But this is different because it's only taking one little piece of that and it's a piece of technology on top of it, which is in my opinion different. There's like different, you can't like put them on like games and stuff like that on the same scale as technology, because technology is always going to be adapted by every competitor no matter what, if it's better. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
Uh
Before we change that thought process, I will say before my second point gets lost in our chat here. I did watch that video. I have the full context, and he got blasted on chat on like in
live.
real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he clarified because he assumes everyone understood that he meant majority. Most majority people don't care. Obviously, some people care, just majority doesn't. So it's like it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
If 100 people care and 1,000 people don't care, the 100 people are irrelevant. They're overshadowed by the majority.
Yeah. That's the thing,
So,
right? And it's like it doesn't matter how angry people get at him or like at that thing, because he's technically right. It's like,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, no matter how loud they yell, they're technically a minority, and that's proven by the game being the second biggest game in the world.
Yeah.
On Steam, not world, Steam.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I think there's a fine line too, because you could say, you can agree with that, but you can still simultaneously say that it's wrong for a game or anything else or whatever to copy something 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
But the consumer, the general consumer, either doesn't care or doesn't care enough. Like they may care, but a lot of people will say that they care about something, but they'll still do it, or they'll still consume it or whatever. So it's like,
and I saw this point get brought up. That's a very good point. So back when we were young, Street Fighter came out, right? You know what Street Fighter is. It's the first, I believe, it's the first ever 2D fighting game that ever came out. And there was a bunch of spin-offs off of that game.
Yeah.
A lot of them failed, but one of them was very successful. Do you want to guess what it is?
It's either Tekken or what's the other one? I can't remember the name of it.
It's Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah, Tekken was a bit later than all of that, but they count, right?
Mortal Kombat was the one, sorry not to cut you off, but that was the one I thought it was. I just couldn't remember the name.
Okay. Mortal Kombat is essentially the same thing, but had its own twist where it was gruesome, right? And they had the first ever, like they're all pictures of people acting as people fighting, which was cool. So instead of being drawn art. It was pictures of people in costumes fighting each other, and then you get this brutal people ripping spines out of their bodies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
my point of that being, essentially the same thing happened back then, and no one gave a shit. They just played the games that were fun. But now people want to make a problem out of nothing, and this is... I watch a lot of Asmongold, and I agree with a lot what he says. I think he's fair, but he brings up a lot. People like to bring up problems out of nothing, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
If it was really a problem, Pokemon would have did something by now.
That's the thing too, right? And I've seen so many people say that, like, oh, they're going to sue. Like, they don't say it as much anymore at this point, but especially when it first came out, it's like, do you really think that Pokemon, the company that literally like within a day or less, when they have something in their property that's like an infringement or whatever, they usually take it down and like, or sue the person or whatever they do. But I'm not exactly sure. They obviously take it down, but I'm not sure what else they do beyond that. But anyway, you really think that they would have waited all these years? And even if you use the argument like maybe they weren't sure, but then they would wait for the game to sell like, I don't know how many million of copies, and like a week later, like there's no way they would have done it, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of the most notorious companies for doing this too. This is not like most other companies. Nintendo is really bad for this type of stuff.
Yep. And another supporting factor is that both companies are from Japan.
Yeah.
They would have the most, like, the easiest time going after a Japanese company because it's in the same country.
Yeah.
There's less fees and shit, less boundaries to commit to a lawsuit and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about international law, and then you're just following Japanese law.
Yeah. So they have every right to, and defamation is huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they haven't done anything right away just proves that there isn't really a problem between Pokemon and Palworld.
Yeah.
If anything, I hope this brings competition to the monopoly and lights a fire underneath Nintendo's ass to make a decent Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Because people obviously want one.
Yeah. I don't know, like, it's you know what, let's not talk about that too much yet.
Yeah.
We can talk more about that after. I was gonna go on a big rant about this.
We got loads to talk about Palworld.
Yeah. I think I don't know if you maybe want to move on to like the whole I'm not sure, you surely must have heard about the assets, like supposedly some of the assets or like the models or whatever were copied.
I have, but it's my least followed topic of Palworld.
Okay.
I haven't really cared.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you the gist of what happened. And sorry, I apologize if I don't remember everything perfectly, but I think I have kind of like the gist at least of what happened. So one guy apparently took the Palworld models, not all of them, but some of them. Well, he probably took all of them, but I mean, like, only some of them were part of the
incriminating.
Yeah. And essentially took the models and then compared them to Pokemon models that were obviously, you know, similar, like Luxray, and I can't remember the PAL that's almost like very similar to Luxray. What?
Sorry, I read chat.
Oh, hello. So essentially, yeah, he took both models, and then he was like, "There's no way that you can have these models." What do you call that again? Like you know, like the triangles and stuff. On a model. I'm not a modeler, obviously, but so I don't know.
You mean the vectors?
Is it the vectors? It's just like I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. But you know what I mean? Like when you look at a model, you know, without like in the program or whatever, you see all the triangles and stuff that kind of connect together, and that's like the model.
Yes, I know what they are. I just can't remember the name.
Okay, well, it's fine. It's fine. We don't need the name as long as you understand. So,
yeah.
What was being said is that the models were like almost 1-to-1 with the Pokemon ones, with some of them being like slightly changed, basically like bent and stuff like you would just move the points or whatever. And I sorry because my memory doesn't let me remember exactly what came out of this, but essentially the person that said this lied to some extent about it. Not only were the models different, but like the scaling and stuff was way different, and like I can't remember everything. I'm sorry.
I remember this part. I do remember the tweet he sent that like I remember a guy tweeting that he said my video was lies. It was probably this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot of people bought into it. And this just kind of shows like how easy it is for someone to lie about something, and people are
100%.
yeah, and people are so angry, like, so they're just like going along with anything and believe anything that comes out, and they probably never even find out that it wasn't real in the end. I'm sure some do, but you know what I mean. So yeah, and then a lot of the models are different, and you know what? And I'll say this straight up, I have looked at model like comparisons and stuff, and like, yeah, sure, I see it, but they're still like pretty different, you know what I mean? Like,
I think, is it not safe to say they're just trying to do a parody on some of them?
I think that's exactly what it is. Like,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, but they don't look that similar. Like, they do look pretty different.
The only two that ever I saw and it like sparked something was Pangolin and the sheep. I forget the name of the sheep.
Oh yeah, lamb something.
Lamball.
Lamball, yeah.
Is it Lamball?
I think so, yeah.
So Lamball and Pangolin look like the Pokemon sheep and the Pokemon penguin. I forgot their names. Those are the only two that I played. Like, I essentially played Palworld and saw them and was like, those were the Pokemons.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Besides that,
but
I think they're, yeah.
But even then, when you put them side by side, they just have like a similar style. They don't actually like really look like each other that much. And like a lot of people have said, a sheep's a sheep. There's plenty of people that have drawn sheeps that, even though there's different ways to draw sheep that aren't that way,
and
but like, you know,
this was a good point brought up for a lot of like defending artistry and stuff like that. So when you say you're copying something and you're ripping something off and you want to claim copyright on a piece of art, where do you cross the line of something is copyrighted? Because Pokemon, not like someone saw a sheep, they drew a sheep thousands of years ago. They drew a sheep. And now Pokemon made their sheep, and it's a sheep. And now Palworld made their sheep, and it looks like the Pokemon one. But the Pokemon one looks like the drawing from 1,000 years ago. There's obviously better examples than that, but this is just me talking out of my ass.
yeah.
So if Pokemon would go after Palworld and say, that's my sheep, well, how do you copyright that? It's a fucking sheep.
Yeah.
Sheeps exist. People make interpretations of sheeps all the time. And you can't own a sheep copyright-wise.
Yeah. Not unless it's like it literally looks exactly the same. Or there's enough on it that looks the same, even if there's like minor difference.
And a better example of this is that elves, ogres, goblins, all that stuff, there's an original creator, I forget his name, but he doesn't get money for every time someone else makes elves, ogres, and goblins look like his shit. They just do it because it's what people expect of those things.
Are you talking about my boy Tolkien that wrote Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. I forgot it was him. I didn't know his name, but I would have said Lord of the Rings if I was 100% sure.
Yeah.
But he basically decided what those things look like, and everyone draws those things.
Yeah.
And it's gonna keep
And a lot of them
happening.
look at anime, man. How many like
Yeah.
elves and stuff look exactly the same, you know,
They
from another
they
anime.
are.
Yeah.
They are exactly the same.
Yeah. But that's
Hey,
the
those-
difference, right? They are exactly the same in concept, but they don't necessarily look exactly the same because it's a different character.
They have different names, they have different tendencies, they get different colored eyes, different colored hair.
Exactly.
But the design is the same.
Yeah. So
And they don't get copyright claims, so
no. Because you can't copyright claim a concept. You can only copyright the like exact image or whatever, like the exact model in this case of what you have.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, same thing. But you can see the inspirations, like you said, it almost feels like a parody. But when you look at them side by side, they don't actually look like each other that much. It's just like the shape and stuff is very similar, but their details and stuff are technically, even though obviously inspired, they are technically very different.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for controversy right now.
Okay.
I want to talk about how's your experience with Palworld so far? How many hours you got us? You don't mind looking up real fast, and what do you think of your time spent?
I can't look it up without ruining the recording.
Okay.
Uh
Do you think it's more than 40 hours?
I think it's probably I think I'm at like 35 hours or so. I haven't played at all this week because I've been busy. And even when I wasn't busy, I was just doing other stuff. But yeah, I think I'm at like 35 or something, or maybe 39. I'm not sure.
We are behind the curve on playtime compared to other people, especially since we're talking about the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't have the time like some other dedicated people.
I mean, I have plenty of time.
Yeah, but you are doing other stuff. You
Yeah.
have other interests.
Yeah.
I have a job, and I think I would sink in a lot of time to Palworld because, like, just today I played maybe 10 hours and I haven't really done anything else.
Yeah.
Not 10, and probably more like 4 to 6.
I'm trying to take games in strides now so I can make them last longer. Because I could have played Palworld a shit ton the first week. Well, I did play a lot the first week actually, or like for whatever 3 weeks or whatever how long it's been out now. But then either I would do everything and just not want to play at all anymore. So even more so with you guys, or I would just burn myself out because I'm playing so much. So because it's not like a Rocket League type game, you know, like I played Rocket League for a long time and that was different. But this, I could see myself playing this for like several years in a row, you know?
Yeah. I see myself playing this a lot, especially with updates and considering they have a plan for the game.
Yeah.
Right now, if the game stayed the same currently, I'd probably see a limited, like kind of like Valheim. I'd have the same playtime as Valheim.
Yeah, and just come back when there's like enough updates or whatever, and yeah, exactly.
Because eventually you reach a content cap and you kind of get like, well, there isn't really much else to do.
Yeah,
like I did everything. So,
and everyone's different. You know, some people don't mind that, but
I will say, on my end, I have 41 hours total. I'm having more fun now than I had the first week. I don't know why. Nothing's really changed, but I'm having a lot more fun now. I think it's probably just a better understanding and like I understand the grinding dynamic and it feels less work. Like once I figure out how it works, it's just easy to power level. It's easy to get to certain levels. Like I get really bad at restarting games, so I'm probably on my fifth world right now, my single player one, and it's because I would play single player, like my very first time I would play, and then I figure out a basically how to do something easier. And then I realized, oh, these past 10 levels, I could have done this and it would have went better. So I restart and I do that. So every time I find a little thing, I get to restart the level. I have always been like that. And it's kind of shitty in a sense because it leads to burnout before I actually end the game for most games. So that is a hard thing for me personally when it comes to video games. If it's so open-ended like Palworld and Minecraft and all these different games, I usually tend to find little tricks and then it'll cause a complete reset just because it's me and then start all over. But I've been enjoying it every time I restarted. My latest restart, I'm the furthest I've gotten yet. That's a lie. I haven't beat the first tower boss yet because I'm dumb. No, I just beat him. When you called me, the reason I didn't answer is because I was in the middle of the boss fight and I was finally winning. And the only reason why is because I was trying to collect my tech points. Hello, I'm here. Focus. Thank you. I was trying to collect my tech points, so I didn't buy a bow or a crossbow. I wanted to skip to the musket. And I was at the musket, but I didn't have the oil to make the musket. So I gave in and made the crossbow because I tried beating the boss without any weapons. I didn't have a bat. I didn't have a gun. I just had my pick and my axe and then my pals. And I even built a saddle before building a weapon because I thought I could cheese the boss and ride my elk and kind of beat it. But the cooldowns on my elk were so long that the DPS I made did like I would run out of time before I would actually kill the boss. So I gave in and built a crossbow, and I it was pretty easy after that. Yeah, I've been having loads of fun. And I have obviously the character with your server that I haven't restarted. That's level 23. Then I have Kim and Chris's character that I have is level 25. And the character I have in my single player now is level 18.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference between you and me because if I start playing something like my first world, that's my baby. I'm gonna play that world until it's over, unless there's exceptions, and like especially if I compare it to like Minecraft, just because Minecraft has big updates and stuff that changes a lot. So like throughout the years, I've had multiple Minecraft worlds, but ideally, I would have gone back to the same world over and over. The only reason I don't is because sometimes it's been long enough where like an update will mess up your world.
Yeah.
Or like even stuff like and this is specifically Minecraft, I guess, but where like you don't get the same terrain generation like in where you're at already. So everything that you've loaded in is the old stuff, and whatever you load that's new, even if it looks fine, because sometimes, you know, a lot of their updates, they do make it so it's like update, like cross update compatible, I guess, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I want my new stuff to have the new, like I want my place to have the new stuff.
Your base, essentially.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm saying that is because Palworld, or just I guess games like this in general, that's the way I view it. So I'll play that world until I either can't or there's something that makes it so that I can't. The only exception would be like if I really messed up, like if I say like I hadn't learned that technology points are limited, and then I was just wasting all my technology points, and I get to the end, I can't buy anything anymore, or like I can't buy a lot of the stuff I want. Then maybe, but even then, if I'm at the end already, it might not. It just depends, I guess.
Yeah.
It depends how far I'm into it, I guess. If I'm like halfway, then I might restart if I just bought everything. Otherwise, yeah, I would just play the same world, and then I play the world with you guys, just because obviously it's multiplayer world for us. But yeah, that's That's how I am. I never restart anything unless I need to.
I consider it more of a flaw than a benefit because I think it's cool that I get to like essentially min max how I play until I get the ball rolling really fast, but it usually happens where I get the ball rolling so fast that it collapses and I get super burnt out and I don't play anymore. It's looking good for Palworld because I am still having loads of fun. And it's already been my 5th world. And I don't regret deleting the other ones. I'm already further than I was than the other ones. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Nice.
Plus I'm committed. I'm at least committed in some sense in Chris and Kim's world. I still don't want them to find my base. So I'm considering at a certain point where I get like level 30-ish to literally destroy everything and like go way in deep somewhere else. I think that'd be really cool. Just to keep them guessing where I actually am. They are aware that I'm there now because it was a fluke the first time that I just overheard their invite code to the server and I joined and I just played. But then I realized like after that day, I'll have to overhear them say the invite code every time and that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I outed myself to be able to go back because I was having fun. I had fun like skipping the whole beginner level completely naked and then running past their base that was in the beginner area. And then I was like, shit, I don't know where they are because they're freshly spawned. They could be anywhere. I don't know where they logged off. So I got to like where our base was and I was considering building near there because it wasn't super far, but there's a couple of spots that I know they'd never look. And then I saw one of them down the road from me and I was like, oh shit, I need to go somewhere else. And then I bypassed them. I basically climbed a mountain beside them so I didn't go on the road where they were. And then I got to the problem that it became nighttime and they actually wanted to sleep. And I was like, oh shit, I need to build a bed. So I stopped what I was doing. I collected like resources on the ground so much so I could actually build stuff in case this happened. And I put a floor down. I tried to put the bed. Then the message pops up. Oh, you need to have a roof over it. So I like spam a roof on top of it. And by the end of it, they were like, I guess it's just not working. Oh, well, it's basically daytime. I'm like, okay. I delete everything and I keep going. It was fun.
You fooled them.
Yeah. I was lucky that they decided to go to bed like really late in the night, so there was like almost no time for like proper reasoning why it wasn't working. Like I assumed they would just chalk it up to like, oh, it's basically daytime already, so it's not letting us go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we kind of like went off on a tangent, but was there any other controversies around
Not that
Palworld?
I can think of. So we covered AI, we covered the assets, and we covered, what was the third one?
Was there a third one?
There was a third one that we covered. Assets, AI. Oh, copyright.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of...
It goes hand in hand with the assets, yeah.
Yeah.
But more, I guess, copyright game-wise, and then copyright asset-wise, and then we also covered AI.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the third topic, if you want to switch to that, if you don't have anything to add about your enjoyment or stuff you did.
I haven't really even talked about my enjoyment that much.
You want to?
Yeah, well, I could talk about it.
Assuming you wanted to move on because you mentioned the other stuff.
No, I was just like, it was in the back of my mind and then it just came out. Yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot too, actually. Though I've been having, I mean, it's like I said, I haven't played this past week though, but it's not because I'm like done with it or anything. Actually, I've been having the itch to play a lot. And funny enough, since I'm on this topic, the first time I played this, I streamed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I was planning to stream it consistently because it's new and it's, it's nice to get the attention out of a new game when streaming and stuff. But then I was like, if I stream this game, if I keep streaming this game, I'm going to fall into the same hole as Minecraft, where I want to play Minecraft a lot right now, but I can't always stream Minecraft. Or sometimes I don't feel like streaming Minecraft. I feel like watching something and playing Minecraft because that's what I'm used to. That's what I've done my whole life. I usually watch something and then play Minecraft or whatever game, unless it's like a story game. So I was like, if I do this with Palworld, I'm like really what's the word? I'm starving myself from being able to do this because I'm having the itch a lot for Minecraft already, and I'm not being able to do that. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with streaming Minecraft, but it's hard to break that habit, right? Like even when I'm streaming it, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I would have something on my, like a stream up on my other monitor because it's entertaining, right? It gives you something to listen to or watch, especially, me not having like a lot of viewership and stuff.
I was just gonna say, once you grow a community, that'll help.
Yeah, that changes things. Yeah. And it is a lot more fun too when you guys are around and talking stuff too, because that makes it more interactive. So I was like, yeah, if I do that with Palworld, so that's why I hadn't streamed Palworld again since that day, and I've just been playing it offline, and I've been having a lot of fun, and that's been my go-to kind of like scratch that itch, watch some
Your chill game. You get to chill while playing.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. I've been the same as any other game I play. You and I are very different. I waste a lot of time. I go around, look at everything. I just can't help myself. Just every single thing I see, I have to go and look at it, even if it seems insignificant.
So can I ask you this? So I force myself, I don't hate it, but I tried to make it a point to seek out and catch 10 of all the beginner creatures that I can find. And then eventually when I get to know the other areas, because I haven't really gone past the beginner area much, but when I start finding more Pokemon, pals,
yeah. Legally distinct pals.
Legally distinct. Sorry, I'm bad for that. I don't try.
Neither do
call
I.
them pals.
I know. I call them Pokemons all the time. I call them Palspheres, Pokeballs.
Because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I actually call Palspheres though.
I usually call them Palballs, to be honest.
Palballs?
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway, I try to make it a point to catch 10 of each in that area that I think are the common ones. And then when I get to a new area, I try to catch 10 of every common ones. The rare ones, whatever, I'll catch them when I walk by them. Now, that's me min-maxing, but you exploring and getting super distracted, does it actually cause you to catch less of the same Pokemon?
Absolutely.
Or more?
Less.
It's less. Okay.
Because
I was curious, because technically...
Because the way my brain works, okay, when I'm going to an area, I don't care about pals. I want to see what's in that area. Unless it's new pals. But in that case, I'm not thinking about capturing 10 of them. I'm thinking about capturing like 1, maybe 2. So I have to be objective, right? I have to it's either I'm exploring and looking around and I see whatever I want to go look at. So I go look at it. Or I'm like, okay, I need to level up for whatever reason, or maybe I need more of these pals for whatever reason. So this is what I'm doing now. So I'm going to this area to capture these pals. There is a separation in what I'm doing in those things.
So how my brain works, so the beginner area doesn't count anymore because I know it. But when I walk into a new area, what happens is that I'm exploring. I'm doing what you're doing. I'm looking around, trying to find the effigies, trying to find eggs, trying to find treasure chests.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking everywhere. But then I notice, I walked by 3 of these pals. I only caught 1. And I'm coming across them so often, I'm just going to catch the 10 and not worry about it.
Yeah.
That's usually how my brain works. After I see 3 of them and I kind of ignore them because I'm like, what's catching one more? But if I'm coming across a lot of them, I know I can get my 10 in like the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I go do that, and then I keep exploring until I see another pal that comes up often. I'm like, oh, I'll catch a bunch of these because I've seen them a bunch. So it should be quick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not like that for me at all. You remember when, like a good example of this, when me and Chris were like way out and we were trying to find a teleport back, and we just kept like going out more and more out. I don't know if you remember this.
Where? What game?
What I mean, Palworld.
Oh, sorry, wrong Chris.
Yeah.
I thought you were, because we play so much with Christopher. I thought you were referring a different game we played with Chris.
No.
Not my girlfriend Chris, because we only play with Chris, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, like every now and then.
Yeah.
So sorry, my bad.
It's all good. So we went out. Well, I went out to help her at first because she had died, I think that's what happened.
Usually what happens.
Yeah. But then she was super far out, so then we just kind of like kept going out more. But we couldn't find a teleport shrine for the life of us. Like super, like we went pretty fucking far and we couldn't find any. And we kept going instead of turning back. Because you hit a point of like, what's the saying or like the word again? Like like when you I wish I would remember it right now.
The meme with the guy digging, he's almost there, and then he turns around, and then the guy underneath that's digging, and
yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. There's a word for it though. It's like you just like get to the point where like
sunk loss fallacy.
Yeah, sunk loss fallacy, exactly. Yeah,
there we go.
So it's like, because in the back of my mind I was like, well, we could just turn around and like obviously we know where one is somewhere behind us, but you keep going further and you're like, well, surely there's one closer further at this point because you're so far out from the fucking last one. So we kept going further. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because every time we would find a new pal, I would capture one and that's it. That's it. I wouldn't care about the other ones. Even if there was multiple, I was like, yep, I got this one. This is a new one.
God damn. You see a sweeper and it's kids and you just catch one.
No, I got all the sweepas though. That was different.
Okay.
Well, not all of them, but I tried to capture as many as I could. So I got the big one, and then I got like 3 or 4 small ones.
I was gonna be like, you're just segregating the family, you horrible person.
But even then, that wasn't in my mind. It wasn't because I needed 10 of the small ones. It was because they were like a family, and I was like, I need to keep them together.
I want to say before we move on, one of my single player playthroughs, I spawned. So I started the game. I purposely respawned. I spawned at the northest point. I built a little base for fun, and then I was like, I want to get from North Point to the newbie land without like dying and just respawning over there. I want to walk across the whole thing, or I think I had a rideable to pal. I had the sea serpent pal. I could swim and he had infinite stamina. Anyway, that's besides the point. I will say I noticed that all the hard areas have less teleporter things than all the newbie areas. So harder places are harder to get out of, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That's probably why we were having a hard time finding one.
But an easy thing to find one is that if you see a boss on the map and it's one of those white circles with the blue ring in the middle that you teleport to fight the boss, if you find one of those, there's usually a teleporter nearby.
Okay. Well, we weren't really finding anything of significance. Like we found we found some new pals and stuff that we hadn't seen before, but there was not like really anything of significance that I can remember. The only thing that I can remember is the weird audio stuff that we were having where it sounded like rumbling and we were trying to like chase it. Yeah, it was really weird. Like I never heard that in my single player or like at any other time in that world with you guys either. But there was like this weird rumbling, and Chris could hear it too. but we couldn't like track it down. We had no clue where it was coming from. And
I actually know what you're talking about. I have an idea where you were because I had the same thing when I walked across the map.
well, I could tell
found
you straight up where we were. We were on the west side of pretty much the most west you can be on the map.
Okay, no, it wasn't there.
Okay. But yeah, it was weird. And it felt like it was going away from us, so we kept trying to chase it. But no matter
When you
where we
say-
went, we couldn't find it.
When you say the most west point, do you actually mean the most west point, like at the edge of the map, or just most west of the continent?
The continent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like maybe there's more west, but we were like,
I think there's more west.
if there's more west, then it's an island because we were pretty much right next to the water.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. But anyway, regardless, like it was just weird. It was like I assume it's an audio bug or something. I don't know. We never figured out where it was coming from or what it was. I thought it was like some kind of event at first. That's what it sounded like. I thought like something was happening. Like maybe, you think a game like this and like maybe like an asteroid is crashing and that's like some kind of special event or something. I don't know. That's what it sounded like though. It was so like, because it was loud. It wasn't just like a little rumbling. So I was like looking around. I was like, what's going on? Like something special is going on surely right now. But I don't know. We never found anything. So it's confusing.
I think it might be something because I have a similar experience playing in my single player world. When I was walking across, I got to this area. It's probably the same area because I started at the northwest and I went to the south, all the way to the beginner area. And close to the top west, about I'd say if like a third of the way down, I got to an area where there was rumbling, but I was watching videos at the same time, and I assumed it was my video. Then I paused it, and I realized it was in game, and it wasn't stopping. It was just a constant rumble. I was like, "What the hell is this?" But I didn't look for it because I had my goal of just walking across. So, plus there was really strong. When I heard the rumble, there was also really strong pals coming after me, and I was only like. Level 6 at the time, and I was in a level like 20-ish, and it was not going well. So I didn't have the time to stop and look around. I just kept going.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a thing. It might be a thing.
It must just be an audio bug, though, I assume. In that area, maybe. Like we chased the sound, man, I swear. It did sound like the sound was like moving.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say it sounded like that. It was moving for sure. Because we'd be standing still and it would like get less, like the volume of the sound, I mean, would go down. And then sometimes it felt like we were kind of chasing it. But no matter how loud it got, like there was like a peak loudness, I would say. But no matter where we went, there was nothing that the sound was coming from. It was like an impossible thing to find.
Okay.
So
I don't know. It's just weird that it's consistent, right? You and Chris heard it at the same time on a server, and I heard it in my world.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's the same thing. It might not be, but I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And the game does have audio bugs, like the music, combat music sometimes never goes away because there's an enemy that just never disappears.
That's why
you can't find
I
them.
turned the music off. That's not why, but I turned the music off, so I don't have that problem.
I recently turned mine off because it happened more often, and I was like, it's not worth it. Despite enjoying the music, but when combat music's going all the time, it's not fun.
Yeah.
You're building a base and you're just constantly on edge.
Yeah.
Can't relax.
Yeah, so third subject I think you said there was?
Yeah. So final subject, I think it'll be a nice one to wrap up. We don't have much to talk on, so we'll be wrapping up at our expected time frame.
Okay.
2 things. I'm gonna mention what I know that the developers are expecting to do, and then we'll put our thoughts on it. and then talk about what we think would be a good thing for the future of the game, if we can think of something. So the developers mentioned that they want better multiplayer interactability, and they mentioned a few things that I watched someone else's video. This is what I'm referencing it off, and I don't exactly remember all of them, but I remember one. The one was that you can take your character from a world and then go off to someone else's world and kind of go hang out with them, trade, battle, do whatever, and your character's consistent, so
Kind of
you
like
can hop between
Terraria.
worlds.
Isn't it Terraria like that?
Yes, Terraria is like that.
Yeah.
I am for and against that idea at the same time. I think it'd be great because of the type of game, because then you can have combat across multiple places and multiple different people. I think it'd be a great sense of community and stuff. And the trading would be interesting. You could meet random people to trade. You could go raid a certain server and stuff like that with your good character. I think it's cool. I have a issue though, and I hope they could figure it out how this wouldn't happen if they do this idea. How do you stop someone from going to an easy world with all of the XP rates and all of the drop rates exponentially higher? Make a boost a character really hard and then go back to someone's basic server and just wreck house.
I think you probably just make it so that the settings or whatever have to be the same across the board for the character.
So,
but it doesn't really. I get what you're saying, though. I'll say this too. Let me add on because I just thought of this. It doesn't really matter regardless, because someone could go on the normal server, like the same server as the one that they want to go on, grind it out, get really good stuff, and then go on the other server regardless. And sure, it was harder and it took longer, but it's the same result, right? So
yeah. It's like a non-issue, but it's also an issue. I guess it's more of there will be people who are built that are much stronger than other people, and they'll just shit on them.
Yeah, and something else, the way I would hope that they do it, at least if it's an option or something, would be that if you're hosting a server, or I guess the official servers too, or I don't know, are there official servers? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Not yet.
Yeah, but anyway, whatever. Whether it's an official server or someone that's hosting a server, you could have the option that you essentially force people to have to create a new character. They can't use their previously made characters. That fixes the problem instantly.
Yeah, but then it makes the feature kind of
redundant.
Shitty. Yeah.
No, I don't think so, because someone could host a server and not turn. That's why I said you have to have the option. They could have a server where they don't have that option turned on, or if it's just between friends. If I have my own server, you have your server. I want to go onto your server with my character for whatever reason. I can bring my character on, or I think that's the only way that fixes the issue that you said. That's the only thing.
And there's a separate issue which that would also fix, is not only the skill gap of a buff character, but if drop rates are higher, you can essentially farm in a high drop rate and bring it to a low drop rate and essentially trade out good items that took you I don't know, minutes instead of hours, compared to other people that are probably just playing on that server genuinely. Yeah. And it would make their experience shittier.
Well, that's what I mean, right? So then the only option is to just not to make that impossible. Like
Yeah.
people have to make a new character on that server. It's kind of like
Or
it's a bit of a weird thing. I know this isn't exactly the same thing, but this is one of the reasons why I like playing multiplayer Arc or even like Rust and stuff. It can be annoying.
Mhm.
Like you join, especially if you join late on like a wipe or something, but it doesn't matter because people are hardcore anyway. So like people that are more
Yeah.
casual like me, but you join in and people are crazy. They're min maxing the game, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting all the best stuff as fast as they can, and then they're shitting on you. And then they usually probably have like a clan or a bunch of people playing with them, uh, which are like equally as skilled or advanced. So that's kind of like, I know that's a different aspect, but it makes me think of that because it's like a similar thing in the
Yeah.
sense
It,
of like advancement.
it would be. Now, I think a different solution might be kind of the Animal Crossing approach where the visiting character. So let's say you have a server. If you make a character on that server, you got full rights to the server. You play like anybody else. You play like normal.
Yeah.
But if you take a existing character and you bring it into the other server, so you make them visit, you have restricted rights. So probably no inventory gets brought over from your character. You just have an empty inventory or a locked inventory, and you bring your pal party, and maybe like obviously your pal box could be. Wouldn't it be on the server? No, I think it'd just be your pal party. So you would plan ahead, bring a good pal party, and then you can go there and be like, oh, hey, you want to trade some of my pals I have on me? You want to battle some of the pals I have on me? And then that's it. That's the experience, which I think would be cool. But I also get that it's limiting and might not be what people want.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like a non issue. I feel like a lot of people probably won't even care about that feature that much anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a non-issue. I think some people care. It's going to be like a loud voices versus people that actually care type situation probably.
Mm-hmm.
The grand majority of people probably don't give a fuck. They probably don't care at all.
Yeah. Because I think from what I understood, besides that, like, feature, is that the development team wants to build a more multiplayer inclusive game because right now it definitely feels more single player based than it is multiplayer. You can play with friends, but that's kind of where it stops.
Yeah.
So I think they do want it to be more multiplayer grandiose. And that's all I know for their development talk.
For the roadmap?
Yeah, that's all I know. I didn't really look it up. That's just what I heard.
Okay.
If you want to look it up, we can talk about more of it.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. It's not like a big roadmap or anything by any means, but they did like give a little. So, if I look here, hold on, I gotta scroll down. Oh, they posted a lot more than I thought they did.
Wow.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So they have addressing critical issues, which is,
Which is
obvious.
yeah, basic shit.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of which, I don't know if you saw, but in the last update, they should have fixed the effigy problem that they had.
There was an effigy problem.
Yeah, you remember I told you how the effigy level would go up and you're supposed to get more percentage, but you actually would lose some for capture rate? I told you that last time.
I remember part of that
Anyway,
conversation.
okay. Well, anyway, they fixed it. They had the little update they had recently.
Nice. What was the level of effigies that you would actually lose percentage?
All of them, I think. It would just like steadily go down.
that why we wasted so many PAL balls?
They did say though, it could be. They did say though, the way it was worded though confused me because I'm not, like, don't quote me because the way they worded it for the update sounded like the visual showed less percentage, but you were actually still getting more percentage for the capture rate. It was just like visually it showed less. But I'm not 100% sure.
It still does that now, doesn't it? So when you aim your PAL sphere at a creature, it'll show like
No, I mean like when you're
20%,
actually
and-
capturing. No, that does. I don't. I'm not sure why that shows a different number, but that's not what I'm talking about.
okay.
Anyway, whatever. Supposedly it's fixed now, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Then they have improvements to implement as soon as possible, which is key configuration improvements. Not sure exactly what that means, to be honest. And then improvements to base PAL AI and pathing, which would be nice. The AI is not
Be
the
great.
smartest. Yeah.
I am cheesing bosses a lot with putting a rock between me and them.
Yeah.
Or a cliff.
Yeah. Admittedly, that's definitely not one of the best things about the game. The AI could use some work.
On that note, I just want to tell you this. Today, there was a cliff, there was a rock, and then there was the ground. And I stood on the rock, and depending where I stood, I pissed off a mammoth. And depending where I stood on the rock, if I was near the cliff, it would run towards me on the cliff side. And if I stood near the ground, it would try to go around and get me on the ground. And I noticed if I stood in the middle, it would walk down halfway and just kind of stand there
Oh.
and not do anything. And my pal would just get freebie hits on it. But I was like level 5 and my pal did 1 damage and I wasn't going to stand there for hours.
Yeah, trying to kill him. Not worth it.
Yeah. So, yeah, AI pathing is an issue.
Yeah. And then we have planned future updates. So PvP. Personally, I don't care that much for PvP, to be honest. I get why a lot of people do, but that's just not really what I care about.
I think it would be fun, even in our multiplayer server, to have like we build a little stadium,
Yeah.
and then we have like little, oh, here's my party, here's your party, let's have a little face off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. And then there's raid bosses, and then it says in parentheses in-game content, which, you know, obviously makes sense. A lot of people want in-game content, and I assume raid bosses mean like, I'm not sure what the difference between, I don't know if they just mean like more bosses, like the first boss that you fight and etc. Because I don't understand what the difference between a raid boss and what
I think
raided would be.
So I think they mean they want to add bosses to raids.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. Because there's other towers. That tower isn't the only one.
Yeah. This next one is actually what you were talking about. Funny enough, the first one we kind of misunderstood. PAL Arena, so parentheses PvP for pals.
Nice.
So the first one was literal PvP, so like you and I trying to stab each other or something.
Oh.
I'm assuming. And then this one's like your pals, like more like Pokemon, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then there's Steam and Xbox crossplay, which, you know, obviously would be nice. Various Xbox feature improvements, not really useful for us, but good for the Xbox people, I suppose.
Good for Kim and Chris because they're playing on controller.
Yeah. Server transfers and migrations, which would actually, I think
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think it benefits a lot of the people that, like, if you have it on Game Pass and you start a world and then you could put it on your Steam or having a server and maybe you're shutting down the server and then you want to keep playing it single player. Improvements to the building system, I think, it definitely needs that.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit finicky.
I think it needs more pieces too.
Yeah.
I think it's because I see what there is around in assets in the world, and then I'm like, this stuff is cool, and then you can build a box.
Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of limited. And some of the stuff is a little bit finicky. Like, there's a few things I built where I had to like do little tricks to make it work the way I wanted. Like, if you put a roof, you remember on my single player world, I told you guys I made an A-frame house, right?
Yeah.
And then I was trying to kind of like my Minecraft world, I put walls to so that the inside's not just like a corner like this.
Hmm.
But you can't put walls underneath the roof like that. You have to take the roof out that's on top of where the wall would be, put your walls down, and then you can put the roof back over the wall. You can't just like put the wall there. And it seems so finicky because I've never played a game where I had a problem like that before.
And even just building a normal house, if you want a peak on the roof, you gotta build. If it's longer than a 4x4, you have to build walls in between each section, and then put the angles on top of the walls, and
Yeah.
then put the roof, and then destroy the walls. It's silly.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But, whatever. It's not
But
the end
it's
of the world.
early access.
Yeah.
They're working on it. It's fine.
Yeah. And then it says new islands, pals, bosses, and technologies, which is obviously like probably the bulk of pretty much what people
100%.
would want, other than fixing issues.
Every time I scroll through the PAL deck and see like there's only 116 PALs, that's like the first thought that comes to
111, is there?
111.
I think
Okay,
so.
my bad. I was like, there's only 111 PALs.
Yeah.
That's kind of lame. But I'm still like finding new ones. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
I think
I'm gonna-
111 is a very respectable number
yes,
for like where they're at right now.
I'm happy it's 111 because I'm still getting Discovery now.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they didn't release it early access with like 40 or something.
Yeah.
Because I've already seen 40 of them.
Exactly, right? That's the
It'd
thing.
be over so fast.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that they were happy about that too, that like happily surprised or whatever, that there was more than they were expecting. There was more than I was expecting too. I would have expected, like you said, maybe like 30, 40 or something. So 111. But you do want more, right? You're like, fuck, I want more. I want updates.
Yeah, I do want more. This is a good game. I want more.
Yeah, but I will say this, and Pokemon, in my opinion at least, suffered from this. I think too much is not necessarily better.
Yeah.
There comes a point where like Pokemon's at over 1,000 now. I can't remember the exact number, but
They are.
yeah.
I don't like their newest gen Pokemons. Most of them. There's a few cool ones, but most of them are just weird looking.
Yeah. But even then, like whatever, ignoring your looks and stuff, it's just too much, right? It's like, why do we have so many Pokemon? Sorry, excuse me. I know why we have so many. It's because it's almost like they have to add more because that's what's expected at this point. Like, if they wouldn't add any more Pokemon, then what else are they going to do? Because they don't do anything else with their games.
You don't.
Yeah. So that's like their expectation, or like the expectation from their audience, I guess, at this point, to add like every generation you get more new Pokemon and stuff. I hope Palworld doesn't go this route. Like, I do want new pals, but I don't want there to be 1,000 different pals. I feel like that's overkill.
I think a good number probably be around 500. It's extreme in a way, but I think it'd be probably the most it can squeeze out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be the very top.
I just hope...
And if they do more and it's still awesome, I'd be impressed.
Yeah. I don't think it would ruin the game or anything. It's just like, what I'm picturing in my head essentially is like every time they have, I don't know, I'm not sure like how they're going to roll out their updates, but let's just assume they do like major updates. You know, sometimes you have minor and then you have major updates. I would hope that the major updates only have like a few new pals per major update. So you get like maybe 5 or something. You don't get like 20 or 50 or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm just giving arbitrary numbers. I think you get like 5. It makes it interesting enough to get the new ones, and then over time, I don't know like how many major updates they're gonna have in a year, but let's just assume here. I'm just gonna make assumptions out of thin air. Let's assume there's like, I don't know, four. Is four an exaggeration? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe three. Let's say three major updates in the year. Uh, and then so you're getting 15. Let's say anywhere between 15 to 20 new pals in a year. I don't think that's too little or too much. When you think about it, after like 5 years, that's 100 pals. That's literally the double, like double the amount. I'm not saying I would care that they actually, you know what, I take it back. Maybe 10 pals.
Yeah, I thought your number was a little low. Because it depends on the pals, right? If they release a bunch of rare pals each update, I get it'd be 3 or 4. That would make sense. But if some of the pals are commons, the new pal is gonna be what, cool for a day?
Well, I'm guessing it'll be kind of like Pokemon. It's going to be a mixed bag, right? Some of them are like,
Yeah.
you'll get like, most of them will be like normal pals or whatever. And then you'll get like the one special kind of like quote unquote legendary, I guess, probably.
Be like a
5 to
booster
10.
pack.
I'd say 5 to 10. I think any more than that per major update is probably too much in my opinion.
I'm more on the 10 side, and I wouldn't be upset if they released 20.
I think 20 is starting to push it because 20.
I don't think they'd be able to do 20 because we don't even know how they're going to do their updates yet.
Yeah, there's no way because think about it. If Pokemon's been around for like 30 years. If Pokemon did 20 every like 3 times a year. Excuse me, I'm still sick. If Pokemon did 20 for 3 times a year for 30 years, that's a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then bosses, islands, technologies, all that stuff is like self-explanatory, I feel like.
I want to end that topic. I think 300's the actual number it's going to end on. If I had to guess, between 3 and 350 is going to be the final number count for pals. That's my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right, yeah. Yeah. It's a fun game, though. I do hope they keep supporting it and having a lot of updates.
That was the end of that list.
Yeah, that's the end of that list.
I'm curious to what their update's going to be like. Like, are they doing a weekly patch with a monthly big update? Or are they going to do a 3 months big update? I'm just curious how they're going to digest their content and what they deem is doable with their team. Because obviously it depends.
Well, they've done smaller patches already to address bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
As for the content, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Because usually the teams are divided in two, right? You have your patch team and your content team, and they don't mix. Because if you do mix them, your content team's not working on the big update; they're working on patches.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious how their dynamic in the company is.
Yeah.
And how it's gonna work out.
I agree. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I think we've, unless you had something else more to add, I think we kind of scratched most of it.
Yeah. My last topic that we haven't really touched would be what we think would come out. I actually don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't.
I don't actually have any good ideas of where they could bring this game to be better. Not that this game's the best thing in the world. It's just the idea of this is so theirs that they're the only ones that can only make this better because it's so they're really pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I agree. I don't really have anything to add that much about that. I do have expectation, but I don't have like an image of my expectation. I just expect more.
And I'm excited for the precedent that this is setting for Baldur's Gate in this game. The reason why I'm bringing up Baldur's Gate is that there's no microtransactions. There's no shoving shit in your face to buy. It's a one-time purchase. It's a single. Well, Palworld's not a single-player game, but it's essentially single player. I'll say right now, as it is right now. And Baldur's Gate's a single-player game. They are not dead. We don't have to be spoon-fed what to do. We can just play a game. And these games are making millions of dollars. And I hope that other companies look at it and just fucking ditch their stores and realize that people are tired of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's completely there, but this is better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Cool.
I hope everyone had a nice time watching the stream and listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
This was me, Jesse, also known as Canvium. You can find me probably here because I don't really have the time to do anything else.
And my name is Manuel, also known as Soldikit. I do stream on Twitch, and sometimes I post videos on YouTube. There's actually a pretty good one coming out soon.
Yeah, it's going to be about George the Cow.
George the Cow. Never forget.
His epic legend.
Yes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Twitter and TikTok, I suppose, too. But yeah, thank you for watching the podcast. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See you.